Thanks for coming, everybody. It's good to see you again. We're going to have a news show in a couple minutes, but came on a couple minutes early to share a few things with you. The biggest news story, of course, the shooting at the press dinner. And, just so you know, we usually aren't going to talk about any kind of, well, we have a saying, the news can be sublime if you eliminate the crime, kind of a fun thing. Obviously, it's a big story, but, to avoid copycats or other potential issues, we'll just try to not talk about that too much. And I do think that the mainstream media gives you a good handle on those coverages. And also, and speaking of that, 60 Minutes did a really good, Nora O'Donnell, good job interviewing Donald Trump, about a 45-minute interview you can find. And they were both in the room at the shooting, and in the room for the press, conference. So I wanted to cover that, but not make it a part of the official news story. In case you wonder why I didn't talk about that, I'm going to try and not talk about, shootings. I think you'd have copycats and a lot of issues with that. Number two is I had a couple other announcements, and I want to read a letter to you too. And yeah, let me do this next. I got a letter from my friend. We call him Bob because that's not his name. And he says, "Yo, Joe, I agree with your big five, but Tucker has gone off the rails a little bit, just like Owens," referring to Candace Owens. So you'll recall that I did a 5 names in the news on a slow news day recently, where I named 5 of the names of people that you need to know if you want to be aware of what's going on in the news. And one of the 5 names was Tucker Carlson. And so to Bob, I want you to know that I agree with you. Tucker has gone off the rails in certain areas, and he also goes into the space aliens thing. And he I don't agree with everything, but remember what the list was. The list was not the 5 biggest names in the news or 5 biggest independent news names or anything like that. The list was the 5 names you needed to know what was going on in the news. And so I think his name, given his history with Fox and everything, with the body of work there, I think you would need to include him on the list along with Joe Rogan and the other folks that were on that list. And speaking of Joe Rogan, I saw a very interesting interview with Joe Rogan interviewing Sean Ryan, which was different because you used to seeing Sean Ryan interviewing people, right? But there he was being interviewed by Joe Rogan. And they were both complaining about something that I found interesting because I had just been thinking about that. Have you ever had that where you are thinking about something and all of a sudden it pops up on your feed? So I was thinking about that, and they were talking about it, and what it was kind of like the censorship, thing. And they were referencing back to COVID, but one of the men said the most frustrating thing was not knowing what you did wrong, right? Because if you get knocked off of the air, and it happens to all of us, they don't really tell you what you did. You violated the policies. And they have to have it vague. I get that. It makes sense from their side that they have vague rules and they can shut down who they want to shut down. But it was just kind of interesting to see them talking about that. And I was kind of having that same problem. And yeah, you don't really know what got you in trouble. I made a lot of little grok imagines with, Elon saying he watches the top 5 news, which is an AI production of ours. And I don't know if he watches or not. But, and I made one of Mark Zuckerberg saying he watches the top 5 news. And, I've seen enough interviews with those guys. I don't know them, but to know they would probably think it was just all good fun, right? but maybe they didn't, right? And I did one with I'll show you. I did one with the Google guy, uh, Sandir. I have a hard time with his name.
Without
Here you go. He's saying that he likes the top five.
without Googling it, I would probably go with the top 5 news.
So yeah, if I got knocked off, do you think it would be because of that? If I got knocked off the air, or would it be because maybe I did this and I've called out CNN for their fake news, and I did the.
CNN, I wish you could just be a little more like your brother. Top 5 news.
So with either of those, you might get knocked off the air, but you wouldn't know which one got you knocked. And even if let's say Elon Musk liked my Joe Rogan one. Here, I'll show you that one.
So many people say you're the smartest person in the world. Well, yes, I watched the top 5 news show.
Okay, now let's say that Elon just thought that was funny, gone on about his day. But what if somebody who worked for him was officious and there's a rule you don't create an AI of anybody without indicating it's AI or something like that. But who knows? But they were talking, Joe Rogan and Sean Ryan, about the frustrations of producing something and not knowing what you did wrong. I'll just give you a different angle of the example. One day on LinkedIn, I was saying happy birthday to all the people that had a happy birthday, and there was maybe 40 of them because I got 22,000 followers there, and I went right down the list, and I got knocked off, and I was accused of spamming people. Well, I'm just wishing everybody a happy birthday. I wanted to do that, and by the way, happy birthday to the 40 people who I can't wish a happy birthday to today and this week. Every day there's 40 people, right? But you don't always know what's getting you knocked off the air. So that's a long way around of saying my open letter suggestion to Ryan, he's the CEO of LinkedIn, to Elon and Mark Zuckerberg, find a way to either make it, where you know what the rules are, make it easier for people, or have a concierge, as it comes and says, hey, you got kicked off the air and here's why. Or if they can't even tell you, they'd say, we really appreciate you doing all these 5 and 5 news broadcasts or what, have some personality with it instead of just a notice that you're off the air. But anyway, I digress. So I wanted to share that with you. I also did get a good, encouraging letter from, we'll call him Bob, number 2. I call everybody Bob who writes to the show just to protect your privacy. If you want your name read on the air, make sure you say, and you can read my letter on the air, but he says, you're doing a good job on your 5 and 5. Thanks for keeping us informed on all the items in the news, because you're right, it is hard to find real news. So we got a little encouragement, a lot of good things happening. And somebody else said everybody needs encouragement. And so if you're in any room that you walk into, you're going to find people there who need encouragement, no matter what room you walk into. And so anyway, good to receive a little encouragement, and encouraging the platform owners to make it known what's acceptable and what isn't. Is it freedom of speech or isn't it, right? And I get that it's hard with AI because you can take a celebrity and put their stuff up there. In fact, that almost made the cut for one of the top 5 news shows, that Taylor Swift is bringing a suit right now as we speak, just to prevent people from using her likeness and whatnot in the AIs. And I imagine there will be others that will follow like that. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a chance and run a few little grok imagines of some people that you might know in the news. And if they don't like it, well, they don't like it. They can kick me off or let me do my creative thing here, because I do love doing the show. I don't like all the stuff that goes with it. But we have a show, and it's 5 o'clock, so let's start.
Relax, old boy. Just the top 5 news coming in.
A new way to do news, focusing on useful news, and no news that gives you the blues.
Did you know 7 major corporations own over half of the top newspapers?
No. What do you recommend?
I like the top 5 news.
News bubble? Everyone's trapped in their own news bubble.
Well, I think that's probably good enough for today. We got ourselves in enough hot water. Oh, let me do one just because of the special nature of today. Here you go. Got one or two more for you. 2 more.
What the grok, Powell? I was counting on you for a half a point.
This is really your moment, big boy.
Let them eat cake.
The top 5 news crew wants you to know that neither of the previous AI generations were actual news or actual events. Those were AI generations utilizing the Grok Imagine tool. This disclaimer will keep anyone from imagining that these were actual events with actual participants. But no, the egg laying by Jerome Powell and the commentary from Donald Trump, including both, I was counting on you for more than half a point when you laid your egg and didn't do it, and other commentaries are also renditions of the show and AI imaginations.
You're watching the top 5 news.
This was just an AI imagination of Winston Churchill. It was not the actual Winston Churchill. In fact, it might have just been a man who looked like Winston Churchill. Any connection to the actual Winston Churchill should be denied, and we'll go on with one.
At 5, I'm looking for a steak, some whole milk, and the top 5 news.
This was just an AI rendition of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He did not actually sit down on our cameras and look for a steak and some milk. All right. I'm going to get serious. Here we go. I'm going to do a reboot. I need a restart after all that. I'm going to restart. Ready? Let's just do it. I'll start over from scratch. Hey, everybody, this is Joe Pelayo with all the news that you can use and nothing that would make you confused or give you the blues. It's 5 stories in 5 minutes that you can use. So if you're just 3 to 5 years into your career, or if you're rocking the big dog, boss hog, executive corner office, or anywhere in between, even if you're just sitting in your cubicle box, just checking your stocks, about to go say game over to the work game, I'd like to suggest a new show with a very practical name. And once you watch it, you'll never, ever be the same. It's the top 5 news. So let's count them down, starting with 5, going to number 1. For today's news, the Dow dropped more than 250 points on rising oil prices, while the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ held flat as investors braced for this week's big tech earnings report. The earnings season is here. Microsoft reports after the bell today, might be in right now. Wall Street laser focused on AI spending with cloud growth carrying the market. The AI, Amazon, Google, and Meta will follow later this week with their earnings, setting the tone for maybe the rest of the year. Story number 3 in tech news, Elon Musk took the stand today in the blockbuster OpenAI trial. He's accused the company of OpenAI of abandoning its original nonprofit mission, calling it a betrayal that could reshape the AI industry. Story number 2, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell wrapped up what is certainly his final press conference as the chair. His term ends May 15th. Stepping down, but he'll stay on temporarily as a governor while the DOJ probe wraps up. I guess they're wiping that off the books. Kevin Warsh is lined up as the next chair. A lot of people in the administration are saying the same old thing about Powell, saying the same thing about Powell. Don't let door hit you on the way out. President Trump continued rolling out the red carpet for King Charles III and Queen Camilla are on their first state visits to the United States, and the royals addressed a joint session of Congress today after last night's lavish White House state dinner. That's your top 5 news for Wednesday, April 29th. 5 stories in 5 minutes. You're done. You want to keep up to date, tune back in here tomorrow. Head over to our website or follow me on X. It's Joe Headhunter on LinkedIn, Facebook. And before we sign off, here's a quick motivational tidbit for you. No matter what the markets or the technology battles are, or the daily grind, whatever it throws at you, keep your eyes on the prize and never lose sight of the mission that God's given you. In the Bible, it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern with the next edition. Stay safe, stay informed, stay blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.